it's me back on my own channel. I have a couple of things I want to talk to you about today, and I don't want the video to be too long. So let me just touch on two different topics, although they do collide in my life. 2 years I've been in UK, 1 year left to this year. Next year, this month, we have to head back. You know, I've loved it here. I don't think I've ever been happier. But at the same time, I've never been happier. On one hand, I developed a very bad habit on the other. And it was drinking. Not out, although out, yes. If we hit a pub on a weekend trip, we'd go have lunch in a pub. And, you know me and the eating. I still do the eating thing pretty well. I would say eating was, 90-10, 80-20 on track, whatever. Actually, more like 85, whatever, 15. But the drinking wine, then I started to drink stronger spirits. There's scotch over here. There's things we were trying, blah, 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 blah. And when we go to a pub, I'd have a half a pint of something I had never had. It was sort of a, enjoyable life thing. Like, oh, let me try this one I've never had. Okay, and that wasn't like we did that all the time. My issue was drinking at home, alone, in the back room with the computer. The husband's in the front room watching television. That was boring. I wanted to have a conversation. There's more conversation to be had on Facebook and online than there is in your own living room with a person who doesn't have much to say. It's a very hard pattern to break. And I got entrenched in it. And it's my bad. And I have a history of stuff in my family. And if I could have kept drinking to a social level and also balanced it with the weight loss issue where if you drink a little too much, it's too far gone already. I mean, the minute you have one sip too much, you don't want to embarrass yourself anywhere. So I didn't balance that all very well. And I found that if I drank more wine, then I ate less food. And in my head, well, don't eat. Blah, blah. Anyway, stupid. But it got a hold of me, and I was afraid I couldn't stop. And I have done things like research a program called Moderation Management online, which is a good program. And I thought I could do the moderation because I didn't want to say to myself, you shouldn't drink anymore ever again. You want to say, I can handle this. Let me just do this in an orderly fashion, like when you're on a diet plan or a food plan where you write everything down. And if I write it down, then I'll be more aware and I'll measure out the shot, or I'll measure out the wine, and I can have this is how much wine I will have a day, and I decided, and I would write it down, well, that lasted about 2 weeks, and made me see that I actually could do it if I actually did it. Okay, got that? But then you fall back, you get mad, I'm so mad, and you don't eat anymore to stuff down your anger. You come back and you have a glass of wine, and you know what I'm saying? It was not a healthy thing. I'm being really honest with you guys. This is me. My mother was an alcoholic. She didn't drink when I was young, that I noticed, but as I got older, she definitely had a major alcoholism issue. It is a disease. There's no shame in that. I understand why she drank. She was unhappy and lonely at 50 something too, and her children had left and didn't have anyone to really talk to, and it's the same. I could just see that parallel. My husband's very quiet. So, I would be back here on the computer, having a glass of wine, chatting with everybody, blah, blah, blah. Not a good habit to get into. That's not social drinking when the other people are on the computer. Social drinking is you've gone to someone's house and you have a glass of wine and you eat some food, or maybe 2 glasses. That's social drinking. And that's not every night of the week. And it's not alone. So like I said, tried the thing where I could cut back. I just let it slip. Sort of like when you're not following your diet well and you kind of get more lax about what you're eating. Same kind of thing happened. So, where am I today? Well, I have not had a drink in the whole last 7 days. The week before that I went on vacation. I did have some wine, but it was in a social situation and pretty well managed without any problem. Food was always involved, meaning we had it with dinner. And then the week before I left, I wanted to try. I felt really an emphasis to try. And I said, I'm not going to wait and do this after I come back. If I feel in my spirit that it's time for me to try, I'm going to do it. So I had a week where I didn't drink at all before I went on vacation. I think I had one glass one night where I just broke down. But I had a plan. And this is where I'm going to jump ahead to what I'm going to talk about in the next video. There's a new food program. It's not new. It's just new to us, called A Pound of Cure. It's Dr. Something Weiner. It's either Matthew Weiner or I'm pretty sure it's Matthew Weiner. Anyway, he's a bariatric surgeon. He has a Facebook page, and it's under A Pound of Cure. He also has some YouTube videos. They're awesome. He went into depth to understand the whole bariatric thing, and for those he can't do the surgery for, he's created this program that mirrors the whole bariatric post-life when you've had the surgery and how you eat this way, you don't eat this way, and this, da-da-da-da-da-da. Very healthy, very Dr. Garth, very veggies and fruit, and, but there's a 2-week detox, and I knew I wanted to do that when I got back from my vacation. So I waited for the book to come through. I read the book. I've absorbed the book. I've written the book. I've highlighted the book. I've absorbed the book. I'm ready to go. So when I was ready to do that, I also said, I'm going to stop drinking. For the first day, I said again, anytime you want to drink, write it down. We're going to talk about the book later. Anytime you drink, what's the point of trying to lose 15 pounds or 20 pounds or God knows, I guess that's about what it is because I'm not going to get on the scale because I'm not going to do scale focused. I'm doing process focused like I did before when I lost the weight. I would say you write down every time you have an urge. Write it down. Well, I had an urge one day for probably an hour. I wrote it down 3 times. I really want to drink. I really want to drink. 15 minutes later, I still really want to drink, but I didn't have a drink. And there's this article I pulled up off the internet, and I'll try to put a link to this too, how alcohol affects your weight, how alcohol makes you fat. Very scientific about how your body absorbs the alcohol, and it's split into 2 compounds, fat and acetate. And the fat is taken through the bloodstream and stored in fat and in your body, and the acetate is taken into the bloodstream and used as energy fuel. So see, there's 2 compounds in the drinking that wine every night, or the alcohol, or the gin and tonic, even with diet tonic water. Half of that's going to, more than half of it, probably calories went to fat, and some of it got burned off in energy. But then, of course, that leads to other things like eating more, and blah, blah, blah. But mostly, I said, if you're going to want to drink, you stop and read this article again, and remember, you're trying to lose that 15 pounds, or at least 10 pounds of whatever you regained. And that's all it took. This is right in my face, made a note, blah, 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 done. First day, like I said, for 1 hour at the witching hour, 3 o'clock, waiting for my husband to come home, to have to fix dinner, to have to sit there. Blah, blah. I got through it, didn't do it, felt like $1 million. Said, I think I can actually do this. Next day, no problem. One day, get a little pissed off, aggravated, frustrated. I want a drink. Oh, I want a glass of wine. Did I have one? No. I said, no, I did not. Did I eat anything? No. Because when I started to do that level of not drinking, I also started this new eating plan called A Pound of Cure, which is a detox for 2 weeks. And it's not a detox like you're used to, detox with the soup and or hot peppers and lemon water and blah, blah, blah. It's literally cleaning out your system of everything and not being hungry. So I will tell you about that diet, that food program on the video that you can go to see next, because this is already 9 minutes long and I have nothing else intelligible to say on the topic of the fact that I haven't had a drink for a week, and really the week before that. And I'm telling you what, in 1 week of doing this diet, I have lost a lot of weight, more weight than I've seen fall off my body since I had gastric bypass in the first year. I've not weighed. That doesn't matter. I can tell you that there were clothes I could barely squeeze into to go on my vacation in. I surely couldn't put them on when I came back. And a week later, my body's in better shape, in a better form, and better fitting in my clothes than it has been in 2 years. So, I'll make you a video on the program next.